and this is what we're going to call maybe more than 20 minutes. I normally do a broadcast that we call Give Me 20 Minutes, but seeing we're adding an extra person here by the name of TJ, we're going to call this maybe more than 20 minutes. We are live right now on Monday, February 9th, the day after the Super Bowl. We're not going to belabor the Super Bowl talk, but we will discuss a little bit about what we saw yesterday before we get into the subject, the topic at hand that I actually wanted to grab TJ by the back of his neck and put him in front of his microphone a couple weeks ago to talk about it. But, you know, life has been busy, so I understand that things are going on. We couldn't do it. So we're going to talk about that here today. Tej, what's new and exciting in your world?
Nothing at all. When you say there, there wasn't much to watch on TV last night. When you talk about the game, halftime show to some people, they're just last night was altogether. Speaking of the football game, in my opinion.
Not really going to go that route. I think that's the easy way to go. I can't even count the number of conversations that I had with people today about the quote unquote big game yesterday. And I'm getting to the point because of social media that I don't really care to hear anyone else's opinion other than mine. So when you're talking about a Super Bowl, you're talking about a halftime show. What else are we arguing about in the world now? I don't really care what you have to say, but I definitely want you to hear what I have to say.
I'm all ears, buddy.
So
you like to talk. You like to talk. We all know that. So it's gonna go more than 20 minutes tonight, like you said. So.
Right. And the term that I heard used a lot about yesterday's game was boring. I'm not going to say that that game was boring. I mean, it was a great defensive game. Both defenses threw off both offenses. Obviously, Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks offense was more impressive than the New England Patriots offense was. So, I mean, what a hell of a defense there by the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, I've heard things all season about how good they actually were, but if you ask me, have I ever sat down just to watch a Seattle Seahawks game? I will say no to you, even when they had guys back in the day like Marshawn Lynch, Dave Craig, Steve Largent. I'm probably missing a number of names, but I never said to myself, I'm going to sit down and watch this Seattle Seahawks game unless it was a Super Bowl. So pretty impressive looking defense. What do you think about that there, Tej?
Yeah, no, I mean Mike McDonald when he came over from Baltimore, he was always known for his defensive side and his, being a defensive coordinator for Baltimore. So everybody knew the defensive side was their strong point, and that's how they were going to win games, even with Sam Darnold as their quarterback, who in the past couple of years from Minnesota jumping ship over to Seattle, I mean he's really impressed the past couple of years. Late bloomer, all that, but I think it was more so once you knew the game, I think got to 12-0, and they were just kicking field goals. Even though it was less, 12 points, 2-score game, you still felt like New England was in trouble because of the way the defense was playing. I mean, the sacks, the picks, all that. It just seemed like 12-0, the game was already over, even before they scored the touchdown in the beginning of the fourth quarter to make it 19-0.
I was very disappointed that that game didn't end in a shutout. That's what I was really hoping for. I was hoping for whether it be 12-0, whether it be 15-0, whether it be 22-0, whether it even be 29-0. I was hoping for a shutout. I wanted to see the Patriots get shut out. What hurt even more than that is former Buffalo Bill Mac Hollins getting that touchdown catch which really made me kind of mad, kind of upset. You normally want former Bills players to do well when they go on to other teams and you want them to thrive. But in my case, not so much Mac Hollins. Didn't really like him early on last season, and then I got to know him. I liked him a little bit, but, going to another team in the division, you kind of got to hold a grudge against that. That shove on Stefon Diggs obviously was one of the biggest highlights of the game for me. Really appreciated seeing that. I think all of Buffalo Bills fans would like to shove Stefon Diggs like that, so shout out to that Seahawks player who put the beating on Stefon Diggs.
Yeah, and I also saw today that it's AI, but I don't know if it's true or not, and I highly doubt it is, but they're saying that Cardi B and Stefon Diggs started to follow. They unfollowed each other on Twitter today. So you got to be kidding me with this crap. But
yeah, I heard they had an argument over the party that they had planned for after the game because Diggs apparently invited one of his other baby mamas and one of his other children. I guess he has several, so I guess that caused a rift between what you would call the power couple. I'm not sure if that's legit or not. I'm not really in that world, so I can't really speak on that.
I wouldn't even call them a power couple. Quite frankly,
what would you refer to them as?
Boyfriend, girlfriend.
Boyfriend,
I
girlfriend.
mean, yeah, nothing. I mean, I don't know. Power. I mean, power couples about what? Like Russell? Would you consider Russell Wilson and Sierra a power couple?
Maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Yes.
But I think
Not
they
so much.
have more. I mean, they're more well known and achieved more as compared to Cardi B and Stephon Diggs.
I know, but because of his performance the last couple of years, like Russell Wilson has really fallen off the map. So, if you
Right. That's
to make,
fair.
yeah, if you want to make a transition to Hollywood or even music, I think he can like rebuild that image. But the way he's played the last couple of years, he's kind of fallen off. When's the last time Sierra had a song put out there?
About 5, 10 years,
There you go.
maybe.
I can't really. I mean, you're talking Jay-Z and Beyonce. That would
That
be
was
the
that was my next point right there. Jay Z and Beyonce, pretty much, because they're still making music. They're still all the accolades and everything they've done. But I guess that's where I was going with it too. But Russell Wilson and Sierra have accomplished more, in my opinion, than Stephon Diggs and Cardi B. So that's why I wouldn't even think about them as some sort of power couple. But I'm in the same boat as you. I don't pay attention to that stuff really.
What was
Pay
your
attention.
favorite commercial from the game, the big game they call it?
I didn't like a lot. I didn't like a lot of them, but I did like. Not to sound biased, but I liked the Haley Steinfeld one in the beginning for was it Allstate or State Farm, the insurance one with Kenny Powers and was it Key or
She was in
Keel?
that.
Yeah, she was in that. That was her.
Was she pregnant while in that or no?
You couldn't tell. I'm assuming she was.
Okay, I couldn't tell anything.
No, I like that one. That came out. I think I saw it online a couple days ago, but it was one of the first commercials of the game. I thought that was pretty funny, anyways. Yeah, I didn't really. I mean, the Dunkin' Donuts one, I thought was pretty funny.
That was
But
good.
yeah, I mean, I don't. I really wasn't too impressed with the commercials last night, to be honest. I was kind of like, eh. Like I said, maybe it was just me just being disinterested altogether last night because of the game itself. I think a lot of people were not looking forward to see New England, and just the way that the game went, like we've talked about for the past couple of minutes. I think I really wasn't all that interested in it, to be honest, which was part of it, aside from the halftime show and all the other stuff.
I was a big fan of the Uber Eats commercial with Bradley Cooper and Matthew McConaughey. Now, I'm not exactly going to go order from Uber Eats because I'm not going to pay those ridiculous service fees. I'm capable and I'm able to go pick up my own food from a restaurant or from a grocery store or whatever. But I did appreciate the banter that those two gentlemen had in that commercial.
They're good. I mean, those two are really good actors. I like them in commercials, but I can tell you from personal experience, I have not once ordered from Uber Eats, not one time.
I believe
And
I had
any of that stuff.
I believe I had to DoorDash twice when I was stuck at the radio station. I didn't have enough time. I used to have this little game that I would play with myself. That sounded a little inappropriate. Excuse me. Um, I would
Well, hey, we let it all fly here on Give Me 20 Minutes anyways. I mean, that's usually how long it lasts.
more than give me 20 minutes. So if you know where the radio station is on Corporate Parkway, right?
Yeah.
So I would try, I had like about a 17-minute commercial break to put my order in, drive down to DeBella's and get back to the radio station in time in that 17-minute span to make sure I can keep the programming on the air. Now, I believe these statute of limitations have been far gone. So if somebody that works at the radio station maybe hears this, I don't think I can get fired or any kind of discipline at this point. But yeah, I would do that. And that was as far as I could go. I couldn't really make the right turn and go down to Five Guys or go down to Moe's. I could go down to Bella's, make that very hard U-turn, grab my whatever sub of my choosing, run back, get up there, and act like nothing ever happened.
I don't think I've had DeBellas, I think, one time too, but the proximity to the Corporate Parkway and DeBellas, yeah, you can make that in within the 17 minutes. The other restaurants, absolutely not. With all the red lights and all the traffic on the boulevard, no way in hell.
Yeah.
No way.
And lastly, on the Super Bowl, before we go to the topic at hand, the reason why I asked you to be on this program here tonight, the halftime show. It was a hot button topic on social media. I did not watch it, and it's not that I had a reason not to watch it. I just never really watch Super Bowl halftime shows. I actually am going through and rewatching The Sopranos while we have this horrible weather. Sopranos, excuse me. Let's not sound like an idiot there. So I actually popped in an episode of The Sopranos during halftime, banged that out, insert reference there, however you want to say that, and then went back to the game.
Yeah, I paid attention a little bit to the halftime show. I know there's a lot of controversy, which we're not going to get into anyways, but Yeah, I really have no opinion on that. I mean, I know, like I said, people have their own opinions and what would transpired in the past week with Bad Bunny and whatnot, but I don't know. Really no interest. I was sipping on some tequila and eating chicken wings with my brother, so we were just talking about the Bills during that 45 minute span, really, and had it on the background. So I know
Where
there's some comments about the trees, how they were humans. Did you know about that
no
at
idea.
all, or no?
Nope.
No. Okay. Yeah. So part of the setup was they had some trees, but they were humans to make the whole setup put it together a lot faster and break it down a lot faster. But you go ahead and watch it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But really, no interest. Just I don't know. I sound kind of boring about it, but it's just the truth.
Where were your wings from?
My brother made them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, homemade.
I'm getting
Homemade.
quite good at making the air fryer wings. I don't want to brag, but I do a pretty good job at making those. So, if you ever want to like have a part, actually, I might have people over for one of the 2 nights of WrestleMania. So maybe I'll rock out some air fryer wings. You're invited, obviously, if you want to come by to watch one night of WrestleMania. You're more than welcome.
Oh, I'm not VIP. I don't get two. I don't get 2 nights.
I'm probably not going to have people over 2 nights. That would be a bit much. I'll do one night, but 2 nights might be a little bit too much.
Oh, I thought I was. I thought it was a little more important. It would be a joint effort to watch it both nights. You and me.
No, I don't really want to watch it with people 2 nights in a row. I'm just getting used to watching Bills games with people, and that took a little bit of a process. But I don't want to watch 2 nights of WrestleMania with people. I will have people over for one night of WrestleMania, but 2 nights is a bit much.
Duly noted. Okay. All right. Good to know.
All right, so are you ready to talk about the topic at hand? The reason why I had everybody at why I invited you on this program. I'm trying to find a transition here, but let me see what we got here.
What I was trying to say is that if I can change, я думаю, что каждый тоже.
All right, that's too long. I was trying to find a transition to go to the story, but I wasn't able to do that. So let's talk about it. I have a lot of thoughts, feelings, and opinions on this topic. I know you do too. You're a big fan of going for concerts, for Bandits games. We've gone to wrestling events together. Obviously, I'm talking about the Ice Capades, Disney on Ice, the Harlem Globetrotters, whatever kind of event you want to talk about that takes place in the KeyBank Center. This story is big for all of us entertainment goers here in Western New York. And we started to see some trickles in the news back in like October-ish. A lot of information pouring out about what the KeyBank Center needs and how much it's actually going to cost. Now, we pulled up a couple of articles here to get some facts and figures from the news. One article says, this is the WGRZ article, that we could be looking at around $400 million of improvements. Another article from Odyssey says we could be looking at around $500, easier said than done,
500
of improvements to the KeyBank Center. And we're talking about new seats. We're talking about widened concourses. We're talking about bathrooms with bidets. We're talking about a bunch of like upgrades. You said they put a new scoreboard in there. Is that true?
Yes. Yes, they have. It's very nice looking. Very
Yeah.
well. Very nice. I don't know if you can compare it to Tampa Bay, because Tampa Bay's scoreboard is kind of similar, but that's much bigger. But it's very nice scoreboard.
I've never been to that arena. I've been to the Orlando Magic Arena to see Rascal Flatts and Lauren Elena and Chris Lane. That would be my point of reference if we're talking about Florida arenas.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to a couple, but we don't need to go down that path. We can stick to the subject at hand, if you know what I mean.
So this, like the one article that I'm reading on the Odyssey website, which we'll put a link in the description of this program down there, along with the WGRZ article, is the biggest thing is this building is 30 years old. I don't see a feasible location where we could move another KeyBank Center to. we have all that development off of the 190. They tore down the Perry Projects, putting up some new housing over there. Mr. Golisano just bought the Buffalo News building. So if you're thinking about knocking that down and putting it there, there really isn't that much real estate in that. I like where the KeyBank Center is, especially, when people got all, what's the word I'm looking for? When people got really into the whole development of Canal Side, which has seemed to slow down over the years and it's almost forgotten about. Last time I went down there, I'm like, okay, why am I down here? But I think I like the KeyBank Center where it is now. So there's really not much wiggle room, really not much leeway to move it. So where it is now, you're talking about a number of upgrades with what we just talked about. And I'm totally fine with leaving it there. Obviously, it's attached to the Harbor Center, which I believe hosts a lot of broom ball games, maybe some curling, things like that. I'm not exactly sure what else goes on in that place.
You're trying so hard not to say anything about the Sabres. I like it.
Not exactly sure what else goes on in that place, but I think the KeyBank Center, where it is in the perfect location. So if I'm giving you a top 5 list and I'm giving you, let's meet in the middle. If I'm giving you a top 5 list, $450 million to play with to make upgrades to the KeyBank Center, what would you do? But first, let me hear from you, TJ. You tell me what you think when you go to a Bandits game, when you go to a Globetrotters event, when you go to a concert, when you go to a wrestling event. What do you think about when you go into the KeyBank Center?
Well, I think the biggest thing too is I think winning does a lot of things. And with the talk the past couple of months and the Sabres playing well, you look at the Bills with their new stadium, they always talk about Josh. And did we have Josh if we were going to build a new stadium? But you needed to because it's 50 years old. I mean, if $450 million, I want you to, work on the concourse a little bit, get them refurbished up. Look at the bathrooms, the seats obviously are another thing, I think, especially in the 300 level. But kind of pay for what you get type of thing. You could probably do some work in the 200 level. I think the concourses are nice, but they could probably be upgraded a little bit. But when it comes to the location, I think it's great. I think it's still in a good area. I know there's been some stalled projects with Canal Side and the DLW terminal behind the arena. They're trying to get some stuff on the second floor there. So I think the location is good. I don't want them to build a new one. I don't think they need to, especially with the connection with Harbor Center right there. But just looking at the concourses, some fresh paint jobs. The media, the press box, I think needs some work, and some of the media members have talked about that. You had a water main break or the pipe burst over the summer, so look at some of that infrastructure as well with the 400 and 500 million, whatever they're trying to do. But I really do think winning cures a lot, and more people will come downtown, more people will spend money at the arena. They'll go see the Buffalo Sabres, which you're completely avoiding, and I know that. Which, like I said, winning cures everything. So
yeah, winning brings back the annoying Sabres fans. Like all of a sudden, everybody's a Sabres fan with the tag still on their hat that they bought last week. Congratulations for being one of the worst fan bases in all of fringe and niche sports. Where's your tag on that hat?
I told you can't. Nope. No.
Did you save the receipt for the next 5-game losing streak so you can take it back and buy a Bills hat?
No. I got all the Bill stuff behind me. You know that. Bill stuff right here. No. But in all honesty, I think what would be huge, especially for downtown, if not the soccer stadium, right? If they put that where the atrium is right next to the arena, I think that helps, a little bit too when it comes to the arena, the location, the attraction, and all of that as well. So if they decide to put the new soccer stadium for the team they're trying to get here in Buffalo, I think that's another added piece to the whole KeyBank Center fabrication and whatnot. But everybody knows it's an older arena. It's one of the coldest arenas in the league and in the country, I should say. But if you can refurbish the concourses a little bit, look at the restrooms, look at the seating, fresh paint jobs here and there. Look at the press box. I mean, it sounds generic when I say that, but it's just typical stuff. I don't think I've been in arenas where I've said, "Ooh, KeyBank Center is a lot better than this one." There's also been arenas I'm like, "Oh wow!" You look at something like Boston, the TD Bank Garden, like they completely refurbished everything, redid it, extended onto it. They did a great job in Boston with it. Now, granted, different market size, different state, but I think if you can do something like that, I think it would go a long way too for Buffalo.
Yeah, you and I are both in the age range where we experienced the Buffalo Memorial Auditorium. And anytime I went to the Buffalo Memorial Auditorium, I got a feeling I enjoyed myself at the Buffalo Memorial Auditorium. I felt like there was a vibe there. I really enjoyed myself going to several wrestling events when I was younger, a couple other events here and there. And I never really got that feeling with the Crossroads, with the Marine Midland Arena, with the HSBC Arena, with the Key. Am I missing one? Fleet Center. Did we
Uh, First Niagara Center, the Effin Center.
First
That's
Niagara
right.
Center? Did my Greater Niagara Federal Credit Union ever sponsor it? I'm not sure. I don't think so, but I never really got a good feeling of like, I love being here. I'm very happy to be here. The first event that I went to at the time, the Marine Midland Arena, was a WWE event when the arena first opened up. But I'm just like, all right, it's new, but I don't really feel anything outside of that. I don't really feel like there's much personality. I don't really feel like there's much of an atmosphere. I don't really feel like there's anything special that I need to do when I get there. I would definitely go. If we're going to talk about concessions and we're talking about the Bills, the Sabres, and the Bisons, I'm most likely to eat something from the concessions at the KeyBank Center. And then number two, but a far number two, would be eating something at the Bisons game. And then way far down the list at number three, as far as it can go away from number two, would be Highmark Stadium. I can't get past the awful smell of old dirty grease in the concourse of Highmark Stadium, where I actually want to sit down in my seat and eat something from that concession stand. So if it were me, and I had $450 million to work with, yeah, I'd upgrade the seats. I would add, maybe some more entertainment, maybe a full-fledged restaurant downstairs if you can manage to do that. I would add I would move over the Buffalo Pro Sports Hall of Fame, some of the artifacts over there to give people something to look at. But I would really go above and beyond with the food selection, the beer selection. And, we always try to pound our chest here in Buffalo and talk about how great our food is, how great our restaurants are. So why not feature that? Why not profile that in the KeyBank Center? Once again, when we have concerts, when we have WWE, when we have a Bandits game, we have a Globetrotters game, we have the Ice Capades, we have Disney on Ice, any event you can possibly think of at that KeyBank Center, why not give folks a big culinary experience and then have them enjoy themselves at whatever given event they decide to attend?
We know they have a different food item every night now for a Sabres game, a different food item. Did you know that?
No, I don't, because I don't go to
Yeah.
Sabres games. Sorry.
Right. So they do a little bit with the concessions, just to let you know if you went to attended a hockey game in
So
Buffalo.
let me throw this out while we're talking in front of maybe like three people right now. I have Sabres tickets for the game on Tuesday, March 10th, because they are playing the prettiest jerseys in the whatever their hockey league is called there, the San Jose Sharks. So I have an extra ticket. If you'd like to join me, you're more than
Yeah.
welcome to.
I will gladly accept that offer, and I can teach you the sport of hockey. Sure.
Yeah, I'm good on that. All right, so in
No,
closing, I mean, what do we
so go
think?
ahead.
What are we
What's
thinking
that?
here? You think this is
No,
going to
I think winning does a lot, and I know taxpayer dollars. I understand that there's all this talk about the Pagula family and how much they put up for the new Bill Stadium and whatnot. How much should taxpayers be paying? How much should the state chip in and all of that? But I do think winning does do a lot. As much as I hate to say that for you not being a Sabres fan, but I think it ultimately comes down to that too. I mean, like I said, I think you look at the Bills and Josh Allen and winning, and I think that stadium came together a lot faster isn't the right word, but there was a lot of discussion around the area that do we get a new stadium if the Bills aren't doing as well? And I think the same can be kind of said for the Sabres if they keep winning at a prolonged rate this year and going into next year and everything else. That maybe these articles and these conversations that we see and how much money's being tossed around, maybe be put to good use, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the whole taxpayer argument. Having worked in talk radio for a number of years, and when we started talking about the Bills getting a new stadium and the people calling in like, I don't want my tax money to go to that. Well, if you really sat down and analyzed where every penny of your tax dollars go, I'm sure there's a lot of things you wouldn't agree with that money being spent on. But however, because we're talking about a higher profile thing like the new Highmark Stadium, and to a lesser extent the KeyBank Center, obviously that's going to be a hot button topic, and people are going to be quote unquote outraged when they find out that some of their tax money may be going, then the character of the Pagula family gets questioned because, oh, why can't they pay for it all themselves? Like, I mean, I don't want to have like a big conversation about investing in money here, but most people that have a lot of money don't necessarily use all of their own money for big projects like this. So, if you're the Pagula family and there's the opportunity to get taxpayer money, get money from the state, get money from the federal government, and protect your own assets, why would you not do that? That's logical in any situation, in any business setting. So I understand why some people may be, once again, quote unquote, outraged. I think they need to kind of just like sit back a little bit and think about what other projects are being worked on in the state that they might not agree with, and not just focus on these higher profile projects like a new Bills Stadium and KeyBank Center renovations.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I think a lot of it too, and I sound like a broken record a little bit, but I think if you put a new soccer stadium at the old atrium right there across from Southern Tier and Harbor Center, if they do something with the DLW terminal on the second floor, I know the ground level is now for the NFTA for the subway, but I think a lot goes on around the building too, which I think brings people downtown as well. And if they can ever figure out Canal Side and all of those hiccups, I think that will go a long way too. So you're not saying to yourself, "Why am I down here?" Just like you mentioned about 20 minutes ago in the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah, and I know, like, money was given to the Broadway market for whatever reason. I have no idea. And other projects around Western New York. So once again, if you want to complain about this, maybe you take a long, hard look to see where other money is going in the state and complain about that as well. But TJ, we went over 20 minutes, but I don't want to go past 30 minutes. Right now we're at the 27-minute mark. So we're going to wrap it up here tonight. Definitely, if you want to, we can do another one of these next week. But I'm not sure if you have anything to plug or promote, but I'm going to give you the platform right now to do so if you do have anything you want to talk about.
No, I'm good. I appreciate you having me on. I'm looking forward to if we do this again next week. Find another topic to talk about, but I'm looking forward to Olympic hockey starting up though. I will say that, and the times, because 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. games, those are always fun to watch during the day. So I'll just leave it at that. So I don't upset you even more about talking about a sport you don't know about.
And you can see TJ's Instagram handle at the bottom of the screen there. TJ, are you still at the Tinder circuit if any nice young ladies are watching this and they want to date TJ?
No, absolutely not.
All right.
No, I'm good. I'm good with where I'm at my stage of my career and my life. Thank you very much, sir.
We'll talk about that at a later time. I have something to promote. It's this Sunday. It's Buffalo Championship Wrestling's Wrestle Sunday 4. Takes place at the Renaissance Club in North Tonawanda. 252 Vanderbilt Street, right by the North Tonawanda Police Station. If you're avoiding the authorities, you might not want to come out on Sunday, but all the people are welcome. 4 p.m. bell time. Doors open at 3 o'clock. 6 big matches. The club's fully stocked bar will be open for all your Sunday Funday needs. Pizza will be available for purchase. It's a great afternoon of family-friendly, local and live professional wrestling action. It's going to be great. You can find more information about that by going to bcw-wny.com, Facebook and Instagram at bcwwny. If you want to follow me on Instagram at WNYWrestler, and if you want to be my friend on Facebook, you probably already are, but just hit the add button and we're good to go.
Is there going to be a tag team match with Troy Buchanan and the Buffalo Bad Boy?
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay. That piques my interest.
Yeah, I mean, if you're available, swing by. I got your ticket. Don't worry about it.
All right, buddy.
All right, that's
always,
going to
always good catching up with you.
That's going to do it for this pilot episode of maybe more than 20 minutes. I appreciate you checking out the program. I appreciate people that have checked out the other broadcast, which is called Give Me 20 Minutes. We'll be doing more of these in the coming weeks. Kind of taking a break from the football talk for the time being because I'm not really a big fan of all the off-season chatter, especially now that Max Crosby wants to be traded. I have no interest in having that conversation. But Tej, any final words before we get out of here?
Go Bills.
Go Bills. We'll talk to you once again very soon right here on this platform.